You said a margarita. All right, y'all. This is our take. This is Mark, the moderator.
Leaf is only family, Brooklyn forever.
Avi the process. Shout to Jordan the snitch.
G-Pack coming to you from Charlotte, North Carolina.
yo, we don't have Banks with us joining us this evening, but I will say we got G-Pack with us, and this is very, very good. We're going to keep this going. So let me go a little bit further also. So let me ask you this question, because something that Avery alluded to, which you would say, as a person that collects Jordan and is a big Jordan follower and fan, Avery put out there, what has he done for you for you to have the allegiance that you have to him? What makes you, at where you are right now, such a Jordan fan and could bypass the things that he didn't do with his platform?
All right, so let's keep this a buck. Michael Jordan is not even in my top 4 favorite players, right? Like, let's keep that a buck. Like, my favorite player of all time is Tim Hardaway, right? So when I defend Michael Jordan, it's strictly like on the court stuff. By the way, you know, people go at him and they say, oh, this dude's better. Not going to say anybody's name or whatever. And I just respect the greatness. As far as me collecting the sneakers, I just think they're dope sneakers. You know what I mean? I've always loved the kick since I was a kid. And what he's done for me was at a point where I had the hoop dream, where most of everyone did. It was looking like, you know, looking at him like, yo, I could take this move. I could do this. I could do that. The same thing I did with my favorite player, Tim Hardaway, is just like looking at him and I'm going to emulate my game after him. I didn't want nothing else from Mike. It wasn't, yo, I could be like Mike. It's how can I get to the point where you at? He gave me hope by the way he played basketball. That was it. And that's how I looked at all athletes growing up. The people who meant more to me growing up was my uncles. You know what I mean? My best friend's pop, who played a large role in helping me become the man I am today. Teachers and coaches. I didn't look at athletes like that. I looked at what you did on the court, and that's where I kept it.
And let me just say, that's what Leaf, what you're speaking to is something that we kind of, you know, I got told as a youth. You know, I remember my dad telling me them dudes on the screen is not getting you anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I remember, you know, the Huey P's and the you know, and the Malcolm X's, like, those are people obviously that you look to, that you emulate, that you get your revolutionary kind of ideas from. And I think what happens is, and I'm just going to defend your stance a little bit, Leaf. I think what happens is that there's an expectation, right? So there's the argument of, do we expect too much from athletes of that nature, right? And then there's the argument of, well, they're not activists as it is. But on the flip, like, and I'm going back to this argument, I'm always saying, yo, listen, man, if you want me out there supporting you at your games, buying your gear, yo, there has to be some trade-off. You understand what I'm saying? And particularly when you have that power. We spoke about LeBron a while ago, and we talked about how LeBron said what he said about Trump, because we knew that LeBron was at this place where he was untouchable. Like, LeBron got to a place where it doesn't matter what you do. You can't. LeBron's more important than Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? To a vast majority of the world. Michael was there. That's my issue. Michael was right there. He was at the cusp of that. He was at that point where he could do no wrong and say no wrong. He was plastered over everywhere you see. People went out and bought his sneakers. So I think just looking at it from an activist standpoint, right? Mm-hmm. I think, again, what happens is people experience don't really allow them to even understand what an activist is. They don't see it right in front of them. So again, that's where the pass comes in. But where I refuse to give a pass, when you tell me Michael Jordan is worth billions of dollars to the world's economy, and he's a black man that looks like me, I can't give you a pass for that. I can't give you a pass for not saying, yo, you know, dudes murdering over my sneakers is wrong. I can't give you a pass for making the statement of saying, yo, listen, that's not my problem why they killing people. Like, I don't kill people. Like, that whole, like, passive approach, but you're that competitive on the basketball court and you have this much of a global, like, impact. I just, as a black man, it doesn't sit well with me.
Let me ask a question real quick, because, like, we're in a different time, right? So let's say Mike would have would have spoke out back then? Could he have been silenced where in today's game, you cannot silence LeBron James because he doesn't need the media to get his point and his views across?
I see what you're saying. So this comes back to the social media perspective, right? This comes back to the access of mediums and being able
Mark
to have.
looking up in the sky. Mark's about to turn red. Go ahead.
No, but I understand what you're trying to say. But you know what? And I don't want to compare, but I'm going to say it. Yo, Muhammad Ali did it without social media.
True story.
You know what I'm
True
saying?
story. True story. Good point. Good point. Good point.
So, Dick Gregory did it without social media. We talk about people that put their lives on the line.
Dick Gregory changed later. Dick Gregory changed later, but if you remember the young Dick Gregory, very much he quit comedy to just be an activist. That
Right.
really was his plight. But
Okay.
Lee, what you saying something, let me just throw this out there at you. And I've never been one to wear people jerseys and things like that. I do it once in a while, but my biggest hero was my Pops. That's my hero. But what I was taught is this here: you wouldn't be where you are if not for those ones that had sacrificed in this struggle. You see, when we stop remembering about those that sacrificed for us to get to where we are, even half of where we are, we seem to do that on a regular basis and then give a pass to those that hasn't done nothing, and give more to the ones that's done nothing, rather than celebrate the ones that has actually given. That's why two people I always bring up is Jabbar and the great boxer, the greatest, Muhammad Ali. And I never talk about him as far as boxing goes. It's always about him and everything he did, because that impact was greater than just boxing. So when I say what Michael Jordan had, he could have had the ability to do a lot more and chose not to do it. That's where the problem lies with me. That's my biggest knock against him, is you chose to do less. And I don't understand why as a black man. But Gordon, go ahead.
Good point.
I mean, there's definitely a lot going on, because there's a few dynamics going here. First of all, it's programming, right? You look at how he was brought up by his parents.
Military, right?
That's how he was brought up. Mark, you came up in a whole different, you was influenced by your brother and your parents. So your influence and your programming is different. So yeah, you're going to be a lot more social conscious than Michael Jordan. And the other thing you also have to put into the mix is he was getting to the point, like, remember people, I want to be like Mike for a day, and he would like, oh no, you guys wouldn't like to be like me for a year. Like, who else compared to that, where he felt like he was in a bubble other than Michael Jackson? Like, he was feeling the pressure. That's why he needed to step away from the game for a couple of years as well. You got to factor that in. He had a lot of pressure on him just to stay within the crafted image he had. So now you want to throw another political mix into that? I don't know. Like when you start introducing politics into it, you don't know where it's going to spin. You know what I'm saying? Like Mahmoud, you know what I'm saying? Chris Jackson, he tried to take a certain stand. There weren't a lot of guys back there. At least right now with LeBron, he got a lot of guys with him. And like you said, with the whole different social media platform, he can control his messages.
Yeah, you can't twist my words. You can't twist my words. I love that.
That's what's up.
I got a point, though. Let me ask a question, Mark.
Wait.
Sorry.
But Gordon, let me say this to you.
Okay.
And I agree with you to this point here, Mike. With what Craig Hodges came out and said just yesterday. Craig Hodges put out there that he went to Michael Jordan, he went to Magic Johnson. He tried to school them on, this is what y'all need to do because y'all are the biggest black sports figures we have at this time. He was a teammate. He was sharing a locker room with this man, and he shunned him. He didn't want to hear that. He didn't want to deal with that. Now, these are Craig Hodges' words. Craig Hodges still, even when he went to the White House, Craig Hodges took his platform and challenged the president, and he got blackballed for it. I totally understand that. But what I'm saying is that he had Michael Jordan didn't live in a bubble around other social activists around him. Again,
I'm talking about the pressure he was.
No. I totally got that part. What I'm saying to you is, you were saying how I was influenced. Well, Michael Jordan had his own influence around him that he shunned, that he didn't want to hear.
Oh man, by that time, I'm talking about program when you're young. You was programmed. You came up. The culture you came up was different. How you came up was different than how Michael.
Mark. Now, Mark, he makes a great point, because our foundation of how we think is built from the time we are 1 till we hit that age of 6.
Right.
I got that from my therapist and shit, right?
I'm glad you see the therapist, man.
So I kind of agree with the way Gordon thinks, and we know how the military, you know what I mean? Yo, shout out to everybody who fights for this country, but how some people who grew up in that military background thinks and shit like that.
No, listen, I will definitely say I totally understand that. But the problem is this: when Steph came out with the cheap sneakers, Michael Jordan was one one of the persons that knocked his sneakers. When we knew Steph put out there the reason why he put these sneakers out to help those from buying Jordans getting killed over Jordans.
But wait,
So,
let me jump in on that.
Hold on.
Let me jump in on
Hold
that.
on,
Hold on, wait,
hold
Leaf,
on.
let me add
Go
that, because
Go ahead.
again, that goes, and again, this is where, you know,
Y'all get me
socially and economically, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, you got to look where Steph is from. You know what I'm saying? You got to look from that upbringing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to look. You know, that's
connection. No,
yeah.
I totally get it.
He's
He had a social
connected to
connection.
again. Not every, and I have this conversation with a myriad of people who I deal with, either at work or in my class. Not every black person comes from struggle.
No, without a doubt.
There are some people who don't understand that, and there are some people who do understand.
That's a whole fact.
But Avery, if Mike chose a time not to speak, that should have been a time not to speak. Okay, that's not the time. That's not the time to speak. When to knock somebody that's trying to do something that is trying to help his people from killing one another. That's what I have an issue with.
But you know what's so crazy? Because I wanted to ask this, right? Because I think Mike takes a lot of bullets for other people. Mark, you just mentioned the name. Magic Johnson should be in that same boat when it comes to not using your platform.
Listen, no, without a doubt. Listen, 100% without a doubt. But they didn't have the actual lake show. They had The Last Dance. So we're talking about Michael Jordan.
Okay.
So I'm keeping it at Michael Jordan. But yes,
but that's my point, though, Mark. Let me jump back in here. His peers weren't even doing that. You can't consider Craig Hodges really to be his peer at that level when we're talking about a superstar status. Whereas
that's a good point.
Four people.
Good point.
You don't have nobody with him back then. You didn't have nobody with him like that.
I said he had an influence in his locker room, somebody that he could have listened to, which was a teammate in Craig Hodges. That's my point. And plus, he knew other players around the actual league also. So let's not say, because again, we've given Michael a pass to really say that, he didn't have a reason. He didn't have, he didn't know. Come on, man. I
never say he didn't know now. I'm just saying he didn't want to throw himself into that political mix.
I didn't read the Craig Hodges article, but I know the headline was.
Please read it.
The headline was that he said Mike didn't know what to say. Mark, if you read the article, can you elaborate on what he was saying?
Oh, you know what? We're going to come right back, and I will in the next segment. Yo, listen, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. This is Our Take. We'll be right back with this. Peace.
Yo.
This is Our Take. This is Our Take. This is our take.